Welcome to the Tony Tonkin Show. I'm Tony Tonkin, and today we ask a tough question. One of the toughest questions I think that I've put to you for a long, long time. Can Trump's so-called Gaza Peace Plan actually work? Or is it already destined to fail before the ink is even dry? Remembering that it's the second one that Trump has endeavoured to put together. So let's be clear. The headlines are dramatic. Trump and Netanyahu stand shoulder to shoulder, announcing a path to peace, ceasefire, hostage release, disarm Hamas, international oversight, and even possibly a road to Palestinian statehood. Of course, folks, it all sounds tidy, doesn't it? In fact, I would argue too tidy. Almost like someone drew it up on a napkin between golf rounds and a hamburger. But politics in the Middle East isn't neat. It's bloody. It's complex. It's layered with distrust. And that's why this plan, like so many before it, is about to collapse. There is what I guess I could call a legitimacy crisis in relation to the plan. Hamas wasn't even present at the table when this plan was cooked up. Imagine being told, we've made you a deal. You lose your weapons, your authority, and your future. Just sign here, everything will be okay. Would you agree? I wouldn't think you would. It would be a proposal that would be totally unacceptable. On the Israel side, Netanyahu only agreed with conditions. And his far-right coalition partners, well, they're practically salivating at the chance to tear this deal apart. They will not agree with this. So if neither Hamas nor parts of Israel support it, the question we need to be asking is, who exactly does? And is there some sort of a security fantasy? The plan says Hamas must disarm completely. Now, if you think Hamas will just hand over its weapons, I've got a Sydney Harbour Bridge I'd like to sell you. The tunnels, the hidden caches, the culture of resistance, they're not erased by a press release. Disarmament is a fantasy, and when the weapons remain, Israel will say, see, they broke the deal, and the bombs start again. So the third issue is a very important one because it's about this trust gap that sits between everybody. Now, Palestinians don't trust Israel, and Israel doesn't trust Hamas. And almost no one trusts Trump. Every past ceasefire broke down. Why should this one be any different? Especially when the Americans are asking Palestinians to put faith in Trump, a man who moved the US embassy to Jerusalem, cut aid to refugees, and has never once hidden his bias toward Israel. That's like asking a vegan to trust Colonel Sanders with dinner. So, this is about regional politics. So, countries like Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia all have their own stakes in Gaza. Iran will absolutely try to spoil this deal. That's what they're about. And without unified Arab backing, this agreement will crumble. If the neighbourhoods don't buy in, no wall is high enough. No force is strong enough to stop the flow of weapons, money, and resentment. So there's this implementation gap, this effort to try and fill the gap with reasonableness. So basically the plan demands almost everything happen at once. So immediately we want some ceasefire, hostages released, disarmament, withdrawal, and reconstruction. And what in the hell would the reconstruction look like, and who would participate in that? One delay, one misunderstanding, and the whole fragile chain collapses. And history tells us that collapse isn't just possible, it's inevitable. So, here's the real issue. Even if, by some miracle, this plan limps along, it does nothing to solve the deeper issues. Jerusalem, refugee rights, occupation in the West Bank. How in the hell does that ever get resolved? Palestinian sovereignty of their own land. How does that get resolved as well? Well, without addressing those issues I've just mentioned, this deal is like painting over cracks in a collapsing building. It looks pretty for a day, and then the whole thing comes down. So what are the lessons we can learn? We can keep pretending that peace can be delivered by photo ops and quick fixes, as we saw with Trump and Netanyahu the other day. Real peace requires legitimacy, requires justice, and requires voices from both sides of the wall. And we have to ask ourselves, where were Hamas in discussing this, but also where were the Palestinians in setting this proposal forward? The plan, well, is just another in a long line of failed attempts, because it refuses to learn that simple truth, that there have been so many failed attempts before. I'm Tony Tonkin, and this has been The Tony Tonkin Show. Remember, you matter, facts matter, and peace matters most of all.